Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Cypher. Yo, it's OllyaWood and Palmathon today on episode 11, right?
11. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
even keeping track of the count.
I feel you. But yeah, it's actually a pretty nice day today. But we got a guest
Yo,
that's gonna make
it's
it even hotter. We got
even
Mr.
harder.
Jeez.
Okay.
Akin. Yeah, yeah, you like that transition, eh?
I like that.
Yeah.
I
I
like
see, I
that,
see
man.
you, I see you, I see you.
Yeah, we got Mr. Akin Toye today on our episode. Yeah, give it a round of applause, a virtual round of
Ooh,
applause.
let's go.
How you been? How
Hey,
you
Dave,
feeling, Akin?
I'm feeling fantastic. Just got out the barber chair.
Mm.
The
Oh, the fresh
hairline is
shade.
looking
Okay.
like you see
Okay.
the you
I
see
see
the
him. I
you
see
see
it,
the front.
man.
You
Yo, I'm
know,
getting a cut tomorrow. Like I desperately need a cut
oh,
tomorrow.
you love to
Tomorrow.
see it.
Yo, like whenever I see someone with a new cut, I just think of that one meme that I like a cut G.
Oh,
I don't
he slaps his head.
No?
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
You guys remember that? You
Yo.
guys remember barber slaps? Like back in
Yeah,
like
Oh yeah.
middle
Yeah,
school.
especially in
Yo,
high
God,
yeah.
school.
God forbid you get a friend. Like, okay, so Ollie, I know how you feel. I know you know how this feels like as an African kid.
Yeah,
Because you know our parents in middle school is just a one. There's nothing else. You cut the whole
bro.
thing. You look
Bro,
smart. You look smart. Dog, when you go to school and mans are just on top of your
palm in
head
your head too.
every day,
Oh
every
man.
day,
Oh.
bro.
And we got Mr. Akin today. He's a TikToker, rapper, creative. He's been doing a lot of different things and trying to make his way through the quarantine
Mm.
times. How you feeling today? Just today.
I'm feeling good. You know, it's been a hectic week so far. About to
Hmm.
be a hectic weekend with the some photo shoot stuff and some album finalizing stuff. But I mean, other than that, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling super
Hmm.
great. How are
Good
you
to
guys? You
hear.
guys blessed?
All good. All blessed, man.
I'm
All
feeling
blessed.
good. Fridays have always been a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
And while we get into that album stuff, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself and just who you are?
So my name's Akin Toye. 21. Um, I'm a student for now. Trying to hurry up and get this degree and be out. Um, I was initially born in Nigeria, so I moved to Canada in 2009. Moved to Vaughan. Since then, done a lot of stuff growing up, just playing basketball and stuff, hanging out around the Toronto area. So just the GTA in general. Right now, I'm based out of Hamilton, Ontario. I'm at McMaster University. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so I'm a rapper, writer. When pitch correction is available, I'm a singer. um,
Yeah.
and you know, my whole thing is just like, you know, I spent a lot of years working on the pen game and trying to get the writing nice and did it as an outlet. Initially, I really needed an outlet because I was an angry kid growing up. But I
Mm,
really needed an outlet for writing and just, you know,
Mm.
I feel like over the years it's grown into this thing. It's kind of unexpected that it's grown into this thing at this speed that it's grown at. Like quarantine was really, really big for me in that.
mm,
Because before quarantine, I wasn't really posting on TikTok and nothing like that.
Mm.
Um,
yeah.
Quarantine came around, threw up the splash challenge video. I don't know if y'all remember the splash challenge that was going on like back in April. Um, Threw up a video not thinking anything, and then it like did stupid numbers and catapulted
Mm,
this whole thing that's going on right now. You know, so
Mm.
feel
that's
you.
that's a little bit about
Yeah.
me.
And now you got like 200,000 followers on TikTok now.
Mm-hmm,
Oh,
mm-hmm.
geez.
Try,
I
try,
I
trying
TikTok
to
haven't.
famous
trying to
now.
Yo, I
I'm
haven't
trying to
seen
get my
your.
trying to get my 300K soon,
Oh,
hopefully.
that's crazy. I haven't seen your TikTok. Like, I'm not on TikTok, but
Mm-hmm.
I've seen your Instagram though. Like, I was just like scrolling through videos and like you can spit, man. Like,
Thank you, thank you,
yeah,
thank you, thank
yeah.
you, thank
Yeah.
you. I
And
just when people ask about the rapping, I just say I have too much free time, and that's why I can do that.
Mhm.
for
No,
That's
but
sure.
literally what
like
it comes down to.
you said you were an angry kid when growing up. Like I can feel that aggression like when
Mm-hmm.
you're spitting. You know, like I love it. Like straight up.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, thank you.
And yeah, you as you were talking about like starting up as a kid, like how long have you been like writing or at least writing down what you've thought of as a kid?
So I've been writing. I think the first time I ever wrote a rap was probably 11 years ago. I was about like 10 years old now. So I think like
Yeah,
it
true,
was I used to like mess around and like jokingly rap, you know what I mean? Like little kid stuff, not thinking it was anything
Yeah.
serious. It was the end of the year in grade 6, and then my music teacher, we were doing like a rendition of We Are the World. Like, you remember that? Like, we are the world, we
Yeah,
are the children.
yeah.
So we were doing a rendition of that. And it was the one where Drake had a verse on it. So they just needed somebody
Okay.
to rap the Drake part. So my teacher was
Yeah.
like, hey, you want to do the Drake part? I was like, yeah, I'm like, cool, I'll do it. Did it one time, and I just fell in love with it after that. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even my words, it wasn't even my verse, but just being on a stage, on a microphone, rapping words, and literally watching everybody look at me like, wow. From that, I just fell in love with it after that. Like that night, I went home, and that's when I first started like actually writing something.
True. And I also saw on your Instagram about your performance that you did like a while back. Did you feel like a connection from your 11-year-old self to what you were then?
So last November, almost like 1 year to the date, actually, we did a couple of my friends and I slapped together a live show for the first project I put out called Indecisive. And it was just like 100 and something people back when that was allowed, but it was 100 something people at this venue called the Spice Factory in Hamilton. And like, I always describe it as, if not the best, one of the best nights of my life, because there was a moment of just like as a performer, I don't know if other performers feel this, but when it's time to like really, really get to it, you kind of go on autopilot mode, like you're not even thinking so much anymore. So it's like, I know the words to the song, and as I'm performing, I'm just kind of letting my body do whatever it needs to do. So I'm on autopilot. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm on autopilot mode. But I had a moment where I was like, yo, like this is how I felt when I was 10. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I felt when I was a child. And like that happiness and that joy of like, I'm rapping these words and people are looking at me and they're eating up every single word. Like that connection was so strong. And it was like, I feel nostalgia really, really heavily. And that was one of the greatest nostalgia moments of my life. Like, that was just an amazing night.
Dude, I just love that. Like, usually, if I watch a performance, like, or go to a concert or whatever, like, I can feel that whole energy. But I'm always thinking like, what the artist is like feeling, or like, you know, like I love hearing like when an artist is like they can feel the energy, and especially like with you, like connecting it back to like when you were younger. Like I just love that.
Yeah, that's and it's like when you're performing live too, like, and again, everybody performs a little differently, right? Like every artist is different. But I remember so when I go on autopilot, I just kind of like, because I know my words and I know that I know my stuff and I've practiced and rehearsed a million times. So it's kind of like, you know, get there and do what I got to do. But it's like while I'm performing, I'm looking at everyone's faces. You're judging crowd reaction. You're looking for who's having the most fun. You're looking for who looks like they're not having the most fun, and maybe going over there and start rapping in their direction so they get a little bit into. You know what I mean? It's all like the only thing I really pay attention to when I perform is crowd control and how the crowd's reacting.
Crowd control.
But other than that, it's like all autopilot. Like just rap the songs and have fun.
That's a big thing with performers. Like, I went to a Logic concert. Like, that's only the concert I've been to. I love Logic, by the way. I don't know how many times I said this. Okay. There we go.
Logic. Wait. Which Logic concert did you go
to? His last one, the
you went to a
Confessions. That one. Yeah.
Because I will say, I went to the Logic show in 2015. I think it was for the Incredible True Story.
Oh my god, dude! Yo, I regret not going to that. I regret not going to that one.
Yo,
that's my favorite album.
Concerts I've ever been to in my entire life. I remember because it was on a Thursday and I had school the next morning, and I remember begging like, yo, mom, I'm gonna go to this show. Please just let me go. She's like, what time are you gonna get back? I was like, late. She was like, all right. She knows how much I love Logic. She was like, all right, go. It was the best. Oh my god, I actually base a lot of how I perform now off of how he performed at that show, like that night. I don't remember how many people it was, but it was a few hundred people, if not 1,000 people. And every single person felt like he was talking to them specifically.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? Like every person felt like they had a moment with him. There was even a part where he stops the show and he's like, and he just cuts the music and he's like, yo, what's your name? And he just asks people's names.
He does that kind of shit. He does that kind of shit.
And like, that's what I want. That's the feeling I want to create for other people when I perform too. Is like I want people to feel like, oh, yo, I know this guy. This guy's a cool guy.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like that's what I want when I perform.
Yo, I gotta ask you, what's your favorite album by him?
Whew! All right. So right now, I don't know why. I think it's because No Pressure just dropped, and I'm just like reminiscing on his catalog.
Yeah.
But Under Pressure, I've had on a constant spin. So Incredible True Story is probably my all-time favorite by him. But Under Pressure, I've had spin in the last few days. Just taking in like vocally Buried Alive, Metropolis, I'm Gone, like how wide vocally and how that surrounds you. And
people don't realize how good of a debut album that was. Like
really, like
people will hate. People will hate on it, but if they just gotta go back to that album and like listen to it. It's like this is his first album. Like, are you hearing this? Like,
and it's his first album coming off those 3 amazing mixtapes he had. You know what I mean? Like, 3
I love
unreal
all through high
mixtapes
school.
going into. Oh my god! And then like it's just Buried Alive is my favorite song only because of the one thing Logic understands is how to vocally wrap you in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So on the hook, it's very, very wide. When he delivers his vocals, he knows where they sit. He knows how to control everything. Cadence. Oh, he's crazy.
That song pulls you in. That song pulls you in. Like, oh my god, and that fits into the title too. Buried Alive. Like that. It literally like pulls you in. And even with this song like Nikki, I really love that song too. Oh man.
Logic is a huge inspiration for me. Huge inspiration for me. Big time.
And so along with Logic, who else do you like draw inspiration from to like kind of add to your identity?
So I grew up listening to like whatever hip hop I could listen to. My dad was a huge Biggie fan. So from when we were young, you know what I mean? Biggie's in the whip all day, every day. I got a little older. I have a cousin. I have to make sure I mention this because my cousin, you're going to be mad if I don't mention the fact that he put me on. I went to go visit my cousins one summer, and he put me on to Jay-Z. He put me on to really put me on to Kanye. He put me on to so many artists. So I started doing my own research. So Jay-Z is a huge influence for me. Eminem is a huge influence for me. Big L out of New York, like R.I.P. Big L. He died a long time ago, but Big L, huge influence for me. Andre 3K, Lupe Fiasco, even the OGs, Rakim. Like these are some of my influences. As far as like new school goes, though, Kendrick for sure, J. Cole for sure, Joey Badass big time, Logic big time. Freddie Gibbs is a huge influence for me right now. I love Freddie Gibbs so much. Lil Wayne, like my influences are 50 Cent. My influences are wide. I kind of try to listen to a lot of stuff growing up, and like all that stuff influenced how I put together raps and songs today.
If you had to pick a top 5, like top 5, like or top 5. Let's do top 5.
Top 5.
Like you don't have to put it in any order or anything, but
I'm gonna go Eminem. Big. Jay-Z. Mos Def. And Kendrick. I'm gonna say that as my top 5.
Okay, I like
Subject
that.
to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like with that style of like rapping that you do, kind of the speed rapping, what do you derive that kind of energy from, or that kind of pacing to keep going?
Interestingly enough, it's a weird thing that I only recently learned how to explain how I do it. So a lot of when I write, it's therapeutic for me, right? So it's very much just based on like how I'm feeling in the moment. And as a person who struggles with anxiety and that type of thing, my brain's always moving a million miles a minute. And I feel like I have so much to say. And I feel like the fast rapping is drawn from the way that I think about the stuff. So I think about it really, really fast. And it's almost like when I write it, I want the pace of it to reflect how it felt when it was going on up here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if I'm writing, if I hear a beat, I always see whatever pockets I can hit. Yeah, I could definitely hit the slower pockets, but there's also a challenge that comes with it of like how fast could I go while still keeping the bars? You know what I mean? Because for a lot of people, they go fast and then the lyricism drops off, right? But for me, it's like, I'm always like, I wonder how fast can I go and still throw wordplay and punchlines and metaphors and double entendres in there. So it's kind of like, one, trying to reflect what's going on in my head, and two, the challenge of like how fast can I go while still not having any drop off.
Talk to me about your you know how like if you do spit really fast, like you sort of have to have like breathing control. Like how do you manage that if you're gonna do like one verse? Like I don't know if you do it in one breath or something like that. Like talk to me about your breathing techniques.
So I have asthma.
Okay.
So
Of course. Yes.
So I have asthma. So when it comes to rapping fast and the technique that goes into that as far as like breathing goes and all that stuff, a lot of it is number one, recognizing what your own natural ability is, and then two, finding out how to best accommodate the verse to your natural ability. So even despite the asthma, I realized that my breath control has always been like pretty good. Just through, I was an athlete growing up too, so I feel like that definitely played a part in just having like good breathing, despite the asthma. But when it comes to breath control, so sometimes I'll write the verse thinking, all right, I know I can rap for this long without breathing. And if I want to go beyond that, I have to almost sort of sneak a breath in there in a place where it wouldn't be noticeable, right? So it's like a lot of it is the listener's not going to hear every single moment that you breathe when you're rapping. They're not going to notice the breaths. They're just going to notice, oh my God, this guy's rapping really, really fast. He hasn't taken a breath in how long, not realizing that I snuck a breath in here, I snuck a breath in there. A lot of breath control too is volume. If you're gonna, it's easier to rap for longer without breathing if you're rapping at a lower volume. You're just letting less air out of your lungs, right? Another thing too is vocal tone is a huge thing, right? Like it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. A lot of it is like very nuanced, and you have to sort of figure it out how it works for you as you go along. But yeah, so typically when I go about it, it's very like, I know I want to breathe here. I know I could go this long without breathing. Okay, but I want to go further. All right, so I'm going to sneak a breath in here. Maybe I'll sneak a breath in here. Sometimes I write the actual breath in. Like I literally write in the middle of the verse, breathe. Like I literally put in brackets like breathe between a word. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much what that comes down to.
You ever have to like hit your inhaler like before you go for a verse?
If I could play you the full uncut audios of so many songs, you hear me taking it. Right before the verse starts. So many different songs, like especially this quarantine, because I didn't use my inhaler for a while until quarantine started again. Because I at the very, very start of the year, before the whole COVID thing got really bad, I got really, really sick. And then I went to the doctors and it was a whole bronchitis thing. But long story short, I had to get back on my inhaler. And after that, like all of my stuff I recorded all quarantine, you can hear me hit the inhaler at the start of every single verse. But I just had to cut it out because I can't put that in the, you know what I mean? Can't put
Oh,
that
dude,
in
I love that.
one.
Yeah, I love that.
High key, you can add it in like the producer name key at the beginning of the beat. You feel like
producer tag.
Oh, dude,
that could definitely be a thing. That could definitely be a thing. I know Lil Wayne had the lighter flick for like a 4 count. Mine's gonna be the asthma inhaler pump.
Yeah, and just bringing it back to the beginning of your career. When did you first acclaim that you were a rapper? Like, was it as soon as you did that performance as an 11-year-old, or when did you decide to take that on?
I think so. That first performance was like, okay, cool. This kid did this thing for this. It wasn't a big deal, right? It's like a school end of the year concert. People didn't think much of it. Yeah. But from that moment on, I was like, this rap thing is so much fun. So when the next year rolled around, my teacher was like, hey, Christmas concert, do you want to write a verse? So I wrote a verse. So I think like almost from the day after that, I decided that I was a rapper. Like almost from the day after that first performance, I was like, yeah, I'm a rapper now. This is what I do. Yeah. Like, this is my thing. Granted, it wasn't always with as much confidence as I could say it now. There were definitely, a lot of times over the years, as you can imagine, like over a decade, not everybody starts off great. So while I'm still building the skill set, there was definitely a lot of times where I was like, maybe this rap thing isn't for me. I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah. But I feel like I always knew through everything, like, I'm a rapper. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like, this is what I'm meant to do. And I think it all started back on that day, the first time I ever performed.
Did you ever think about going back to that teacher, be like, yo, look at me now? Or
I was just talking to my mom about this. So funny enough, I don't know if this is, how Nigerians are. There's always some type of universal connection to something. So my mom told me that my music teacher sent her an email years ago years. This is after she stopped teaching me music. Sent her an email years ago saying, I just had a dream that Akin Toye was on a stage speaking, and people were like locked into what he was saying and following every single word. And it's just like, from when my mom told me that, I was like, I need to find out. I need to find this teacher right now and show her what I'm doing right now. Like, I have to. And I can't find her contact. I don't know how to get in touch with her.
Oh, damn.
But if Miss Aquino, if you're looking at this right now, if you're watching this, holla at me. Hit me on IG or something. I have to show you what I'm doing. I have to, please.
And I feel like teachers, especially when we're in like middle school, high school, they are so important to like helping you push you forward. Cause like I even have my own teachers that were like, if she wasn't there, I'm not sure what I would be doing right now. If I would be in the same career.
Teachers are huge, and the thing is, like, teachers are number one a necessity, but they're taken for granted because they're expected, right? Like we've all had teachers, whatever, and a good teacher can make or break somebody's life.
For sure.
Funny enough, you know what I mean? Even if it's as far back as middle school. I think if she never asked me to perform that thing 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I probably would never have gone down this route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I never got that initial feeling, I probably never would have gone this route.
I feel that, because like I think even in the middle school for me, like I think at first I was in like this band at school. I was doing trumpet. Trumpet was I tried to take on trumpet. Nah, trumpet was not for me, bro. But
you were rocking with the trumpet.
I was like, nah. Yeah, actually playing on trumpet is actually kind of hard because you have to have your mouth right and all that. But as soon as I picked up the bass guitar, I was like, yo, this is sick, And I was playing like Michael Jackson during the presentation, the stage performances and stuff. I was like, But then like, I feel like just that the early stages are so important to deciding where you want to go and how you want to do it, even though not everyone is able to have that experience. It's really vital, And like,
that's the thing too, because I remember I used to play the flute in middle school and high school.
Yeah,
I was a flautist. It's funny because it's like you can't be a big black dude and play the flute and not get everybody. I caught all the rules for playing the flute. That was just a given. But I remember playing it and being like, yo, I hate this instrument. I was like, this sucks. I was like, this is the worst thing. This is so terrible. And then, I knew I was musically inclined. I just had to find the right avenue of music. So like I played piano and you know what I mean? Like I did these things. Yeah. And then it wasn't until rapping when I started rapping and I was like, this is the music thing I'm supposed to. This is the music thing I'm inclined towards.
For sure.
That's the thing, yo. Like a lot of people, like they don't know what they want to do, but it's like if you try like enough things, like you're gonna probably like narrow it down into like be like, oh, like this thing I kind of like. I'm gonna try and just see like where it goes. So,
and so much of it is like I always think about how many. This is the thing I wonder about, like how many musicians did we miss out on because they didn't get lined up with the right thing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think about like we could have had 77 piano virtuosos right now, but because they never had access to a piano.
Yeah,
that's pretty deep.
I mean, that's life though. Like whatever opportunities you get, like that's what you got to make the best out of, right?
For real, for sure. It's all about opportunity. It's all about like I think about like I talk about this with my friends all the time. I'm like what are the odds that things played out the way that they played out right now? Like if I choose to go to a different university, I probably never meet the producers I work with right now. You know what I mean? Or if I never hurt my knee, I used to play basketball. If I kept being an athlete all the way beyond high school, I probably never would have gone the music route. You know what I mean? Like I think about all this type of stuff all the time. Ooh, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
No worries. Hey, we're on the go with the podcast now.
Like, we're on the move. I'm over right now. Okay.
Hey, we're back. We back.
What's up? All right, we get to go.
Taking it back from where we were talking about before. Like, I remember. Have you ever watched this show on Netflix called Hip Hop Evolution?
I think I watched like 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
I know it's the whole series, but I think I watched like one or two.
Mm-hmm. Did there this
I have yet to watch that show.
Yo, you gotta watch the show, bro.
Ollie's been recommending it to me for the past 2 years.
Yeah, bro. It's a good show. It's a good.
Dude, yeah. It always slips my mind, man. But yeah.
Yeah, but there's a segment about Jay-Z and stuff, and his beginning as a rapper. I think on the side he was a drug dealer too. But then at one point he was making more money from the drugs and all that. The rapping wasn't enough. He wasn't getting any deals. He wasn't getting any opportunities. But then there was another guy who was like, "Yo, you can't give up. You can't." He kept pushing him basically, and then until he got to where he was, where we see like that kind of progress he's made, you know. And it's like some of the challenges that we face and along the way kind of almost depict who we are as a character and how we kind of progress and overcome those challenges, you know. And so the the progression of you as a rapper and your confidence, had that kind of like lifestyle changed your own lifestyle in any sense?
I feel like as far as changing my lifestyle, it hasn't really. Like as I've gotten older, I'm anybody who knows me will tell you I'm the nigga that doesn't like going nowhere. I don't like going outside. I don't like leaving the house. Anyway, to begin with, and it just so happens that now that I have the whole gear set up like in my bedroom, it blends itself nice into my lifestyle. Because I mean, I'm not going anywhere really. Anything, right? Like we're on lockdown, so no one's really going anywhere doing anything right now. But I feel like as far as the life that I'm living, I feel like being a musician fits in really, really nicely with that. Like just being in semi-seclusion or with whoever I'm working with and just being in the house and making music. I feel like it just blends nicely. But I'm lucky though, because I feel like for most people that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anything I can do to be at the house, I'm probably gonna do.
Okay. Let's shift gears a bit into your new album coming out. Yeah. So this year you released you released an album around March, right? It's called You released Vibrate. Yeah,
yes, sir.
in March, and now you're releasing your second album. Have you released the name of the album yet?
We haven't said the name of the project yet publicly. Yeah, so the album's called Vertigo. The album is called Vertigo. That's the name of the project. The project is called Vertigo.
You heard it here first, yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. So the project is called Vertigo. As far as the date, I can't give you a date yet because we don't have a solidified. But yeah, expect it early December.
Okay. Yeah. And
not too far.
And like, what was the mindset of releasing kind of the double album this year?
I feel like it's a thing that we're gonna do on a more regular basis. Putting out 2 albums in a year, I feel like that's just the workflow. This album, I will say for this one, it did take the longest out of all the projects I probably put out. Vibrate came together in a span of a few months. I want to say 3 or 4 months, probably, even a little longer than that. But this one took like a good 8 months to really get together. And I mean, if it's 8 months between albums, I feel like 2 albums in a year could be a more regular thing. But also, I feel like it depends on a whole lot of circumstances, like whether or not we feel inspired over the course of the year, whether or not we can actually get a project that we're proud of and like ready to put out ready by the end of the year. But I mean, like, you know, so far 2 projects in the year it's a nice little workflow for us. Yeah.
And so like with that kind of schedule that you have, is it more so because of all the ideas that you have that are coming out, or is it more so just to be more proactive against just to build yourself?
Yeah.
So as far as putting it out, it really is idea based. Like we're really, really big on just letting things happen organically, and like not, go with the flow, but not in like a lazy go with the flow way. And like when you catch the impulse, whenever you catch the vibe, you act on it as fast as we can. So we don't lose it, right? But yeah, so I feel like a lot of it is based on like whatever the idea is. So if we get a great idea, we're going to try and make it happen as often as we can, as quickly as we can, and as well as we can. So I feel like that's mostly what it's based on.
Okay.
I haven't like listened to your first album, but for this upcoming one is what I want to ask, like, what kind of style are you trying to lean towards, or you know?
As far as what to expect for this one, I will say high energy. I will say expect something different than what you would maybe ordinarily expect from an artist at my position or my level. Expect something a little different. It's a cohesive project. It's like an album. So like listen front to back in order type album, not just, slap it on shuffle like a lot of the projects that will be out. Not there's anything wrong with that, but just, our goal was to make it cohesive and make it one legitimate project. Like this is an album. So I would say expect a story over the course of the project. Expect things to connect to each other. Expect things to flow to each other nicely, and expect high energy as per usual.
I love it when albums are actually like cohesive. Like you can just sit down and like, again, The Incredible True Story comes to my mind because that album. I don't know, Ollie, have you heard it? Have you listened to it?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, listen too much.
You have to go. You have to go listen to it.
You have to.
You have to go listen to it.
It's one of those albums that like you feel satisfied. Like it's a story, and it's not even just like that album is just one thing alone. It sort of connects into his other albums too, and it's amazing when artists are able to like create a story using music. Like so again with what you said, it's like not something you put on shuffle, but rather sit down, grab a drink or two, and just like listen to it and just vibe to it.
Exactly.
And so, what was the inspiration behind the name Vertigo?
So the behind the name Vertigo. So initially we didn't call the project Vertigo. Initially we had a song called Vertigo. I don't know how much I can tell you about that yet, but the idea behind it is so I've always had a fear of heights. That's just like a very, very real thing for me. Like I'm definitely afraid of heights. Like balconies are a no-go. I'm I am terrified of heights. And with everything that's going on right now, it's a lot of changes where we're elevating to new levels that we haven't been on before. And the album sort of goes through a lot of working out things that one would have to work out while elevating to these levels. And that's sort of the idea behind the name Vertigo, right? It's coming to new heights and dealing with all the uneasiness and the unsteadiness that may come with it, and navigating that however we have to navigate it.
Okay, yeah. And like had that kind of that engine of like releasing albums and maybe performing down the road, had that kind of change your outlook or your perspective of life?
I think definitely. So when it comes to the process of making projects and working through the music and writing these songs, I feel like it's definitely helped me work through a lot of trauma that I had to work through. Because oftentimes in life we don't get to sit down and actually deal with the things that we've had to deal with in our lives and just really sit down and think about them and work through them. And I feel like this project this project and the projects prior have been my attempt at doing that, of just working through things I should be working through. So it's definitely changed my life in the sense of like, I feel more, I understand myself more as a person as I make this music and as we level up and as we do these things that we do. And I'm hoping, my goal is that it will continue to change my life going forward, and I'll be able to understand myself more and grow more and experience more and all these different types of things too.
Yeah. It's like, in a sense, it's almost like the kind of a reflection of quarantine or what quarantine is for you. Because like within that time for a lot of people, like they were able to like talk about things that they've been like hiding in the back shelf for a minute because life is just on the go, and like I guess that's kind of the representation of what that album means to you, right?
And it's weird because it really is a quarantine album. Like quarantine was a time for a lot of people to actually sit down. We haven't been forced to just sit our ass down somewhere in God knows how long. And it just so happens that when we were forced to sit down, we were able to come out with this very, very introspective, very, very different sounding project that we came up with.
Do you ever feel the need as an artist who's growing in both your career and your life? Do you ever feel the need to like pull back emotionally, or do you ever feel like the need to not to like, cover certain topics because you know you don't really want to reveal that aspect of your life?
Mm-hmm. I think everybody who's a writer has certain topics that, not everybody, I will say, but probably most people who write have stuff that they're like, I don't know if I'm ready to talk to people about this yet. But I do find that as I've been doing this, I've surprised myself with what I'm willing to talk about. Like there's a lot of stuff that I talk about on songs that I don't talk about with people. You know what I mean? That I just kind of put on the song and then I work through it afterwards. I do still occasionally pull back. I write some things sometimes that'll get me in trouble, and I just make the decision to not put them out. But I mean, again, it all depends on like a person's comfortability, right? And how willing somebody is to take the risk of talking about something that they may not necessarily be comfortable talking about. I'm also lucky because I'm at a level where backlash would not be that severe or significant if I did try something and have it not work out in my favor. I feel like the backlash would be too terrible right now. So I think I'm trying to find like a middle ground between saying what I want to say and working through what I got to work through and being completely and fully honest, but like also not being reckless, you know?
That's always interesting with artists because we have like the artist and we have the person, and like to the person, like the artist and person, like they're one the same people, but to the audience they can sort of become like two different people. And I don't know, I always wonder like
it's weird because it is the music business, right? So like the artist is a and the music is a product, and the artist to some extent is also a product depending on
exactly
who's looking at it. So it's like it's really easy for those lines to get blurred.
Definitely. And even the person alone, it's like you said, it's a brand, it's a product. And I don't know, I always bring up Gary Vee. I don't know if you actually know it, but yeah, he was just talking about like this interesting thing about 2021 being like the return of the product.
Right, because everything's kind of been put on pause for what, 8? How many months have we been in quarantine? 9 months? 10 months? Damn near? Something like that. Like
probably
literally everything's been put on pause for 10 months.
Going into that, have those like revelations of your own person in your music, had that reflected in how people view you?
Oh, definitely. I will say, I talk about this with my guys all the time. Like there's some people who did not believe in what we're doing. Then they start seeing the results come, and then all of a sudden it's oh yeah, I believe in you, go whatever.
Yeah,
that is what it is. I feel like that's to be expected. As far as even beyond like how people view me, because I do talk about a lot of things on projects that I don't talk about just with people. I feel like some of my friends have found out things about me that they didn't know through the projects. My family's found out things about me they didn't know through the projects. But again, like, you know, I feel like that all comes back to being comfortable taking that risk of like, all right, these people are gonna view me a certain type of way because of this thing that I say on the song, but like it is what it is because it's honest to me too, right?
So like as a building artist, as you're building your career and your lifestyle, are you looking towards eventually becoming signed to a record deal, record label, or do you want to continue on that path of independency?
I think signing is not the end goal. I think the end goal would be independence, ownership of what we have, and ownership of what we make. I think we're also like regardless of what happens along the path, the end goal will always be independence and ownership of our own stuff. Because the last thing we want is for somebody else to have control and power over something that we create, and for our hard work and our art to just become a product for somebody else to use. That's not ideal. So like independence would be fantastic, and signing a deal is not the end goal for us.
So as you've gone through your career, as you're making more and more albums each year, with your schedule of like double albums, do you think you found your sound just yet? Do you think you kind of like
I think we found a sound, but I don't think it's gonna define what our sound is. I feel like our sound's gonna evolve. It's gonna grow over the course of however long we do this. I feel like we have so many wide influences and so many things we want to do, and so many things we've seen that we want to accomplish, so many things that we want to be the first to accomplish. I think our sound is going to continue to grow for as long as we do this, and like that will be the goal, right? Is to every single project that we make after this have the sound grow and evolve. Maybe take a hard left, maybe just, you know what I mean, like we have to always give it room to grow, but growth is the end goal for everything we're gonna do as far as the sound goes.
And like how much do you think the fans' influence is gonna play into how you define or what direction you decide to take your sound into?
I think this is also another thing I talk about with the homies all the time is when we make the music, we're not making it thinking, oh, people are gonna like this. We're making it thinking, yo, we like this. And the first step is we have to like the music first. The music, we're gonna make what we like. If we put it out and people don't like it, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? There's some people are gonna like it, some people aren't gonna like it. That's something that we've accepted. It's something that we've just taken as you know, as artists who create or trying to create non-conventional music in this space. So as far as like a fan influence, yeah, we're definitely gonna listen and we're definitely gonna take their opinions into account. But at the same time, it's like the first step is we have to like the music as the people creating the music. So that's always going to be the number one focus, the main thing.
Would you ever be open to like, say, like straying away from rap and like going country or I don't know, pop or I don't know if that ever comes to your mind?
I mean, as far as influences, like the guys I work with, Dan and Chateau, our influences are wide. Their influences are wider than my influences. So my influences are mostly rap, R&B, soul. That's my comfort zone. But these guys listen to all types of rock and punk and genres that I would never even think about touching. And them being the guys that make the beats and that are really responsible for like the soundscape of the projects. If I wouldn't be opposed to going a genre bending, right? I will say this album does blur a couple genres together as well. So yeah, I'm not opposed to going the different genre route. But I feel like that has to come naturally and that has to come organically. I wouldn't be surprised if one day we woke up and we were like, yo, fam, let's make a country album or something. You know what I mean? Like if one of us woke up and was like, yo, let's do it. And then he got us on a slipping day and we were like, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Like, I would not be surprised if that happens. And then the next morning probably change. Yeah, you're right.
Like overall, as an artist, as we come to like the end of this segment here, is there like an overall kind of message or kind of thing that you want your audience to listen to within this? Is it just the lyricism, the beats, or is there like an overall kind of? I guess that kind of comes in with each album, but like, is there an overall message that you want to deliver?
I don't know if there's one message necessarily attached to the project. I will say when you listen to the project, definitely keep your ears open, definitely keep your mind open, because this is going to be very, very different from what you would organically or ordinarily hear from an artist in our position. I will say that much. It's I don't know if there's a message. There's multiple messages over the course of the project. I don't know if there's one specific message. Again, I don't know how much I can or can't say without saying what I say on the project so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say expect some very, very different things.
So Paul, you have any more questions? Because I have one more question I want to ask before we go on.
I mean, I don't have a question, but I will say I'm excited for the album. Like just going through your IG feed and like just hearing from like some information that you gave us. Like I just got to say, like, I'm pretty excited for the project, and yeah, I can't wait. So you're on Spotify, like I would assume, right?
Yeah. So this album is gonna be. I will say, depending on. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna call myself slipping.
Okay.
Well, yeah, definitely excited for it though. Yeah.
Thank you.
So one more thing before we move on, if you could summarize 2020 or just your career into one album title, what would you name it?
2021 album title?
Mm-hmm.
Confusion. Bare confusion. That would be the title.
Yeah,
Bare
that's pretty
confusion.
good. Yeah,
Bare confusion.
Bare confusion. Yeah, I like that. Okay, yeah. So now we'll move on to the next segment of the podcast called the Genius segment, where you get to explain your creative process through one or two of your songs.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we got Professor
and stuff, you know. Yeah. Okay, and for this segment of the Genius podcast, we also have Akin. He on TikTok. If you don't know, he does like, or at least from his like older videos, he's done like childhood themed remixes where he raps over these like different remixes. And the one I'm choosing is Corey in the House, man.
Mm-hmm.
Corey in the House was my thing back then. Yo, like Corey in the House, just as a show itself was dope. There you go.
One day I'll function like feng shui, the balance impeccable, dreaded like gunplay, been tangled in hairy situations, they hating them cause they not hot, and watching everybody roll around them like a ball spot, I'm wigging out, never been basic, I took a different route amid dissociation, confusing, all my counterparts couldn't handle the heat, cause I'm black and blazing the trail, so they taking the white side like Terry Crews, who I'm the illest, they lying on me, but listen, the lyricism keep the people running back like Barry Sanders' position, I'm narrowly missing, this Negro channel is something crazy, I'ma fuck up all your childhood favorites until they pay me, shorty's calling me baby, I'll never let them embrace me, they choosing, I tell them beat it like Mike Jack in the 80s. Instead of copping Mercedes, I'm taking the label money and waving it in the faces of everybody who claimed I was crazy and did me shady, restrain me and call me lazy. Y'all ain't never see me settle for maybe. That's crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was dope.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
Dude, you went in with that.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite. Your Corey in the House was my show, dog.
Yo, definitely, bro.
Oh my lord.
Especially on like Disney and stuff, like just having like a black kid being the center of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That was like,
and having it not be based around trauma, like he was just having fun.
Yeah,
like, you just bare vibes, like that. Oh, it was
in the White House too. I was like,
for real.
Yeah,
oh, it's the best. One of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah, and like, what was it? Yeah, as you have this and many others, what was the inspiration for you to start that series that you did?
So to be fully honest, initially it was kind of a joke. so I before I had actually made one, I joked about it with my friends for like a year and a half, just being like, yo, how funny would it be if it started with the Kim Possible. So Kim Possible has this one song called the Naked Mole Rap. And it was like Ron's little Naked Mole Rat Rufus, and he was like rapping. I was like, yo, that'd be so funny if I took it and like sampled it and like chopped it and made it. So I did it as a joke, like literally just showed it to my friends, never put it out. And then the TikTok stuff started going well, and I was like, yo, like, I was like, what if, like, I think the joke came back up, and I was like, yo, what if I actually just did that? I was like, what if I just do it? And then I was like, hey, what's the best one to start with? And then I was like, all right. And so my friends and I do this thing where we'll go and sit on Disney Plus and just like run through childhood shows.
Yeah.
Like just run through them. And I was thinking, yo, Phineas and Ferb was a banger.
Oh yeah.
And I kept seeing hella Phineas and Ferb stuff on my For You page on TikTok. So I was like, oh, yo, so people on here tune into Phineas and Ferb. I was like, what if I just flip a Phineas and Ferb song? So we flipped. I flipped squirrels in my pants. Just literally took the instrumental and just rapped on it. And that was the first one, and people loved it. And I was like, oh, okay, bet this is gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and my goal is after the album drops, definitely get a couple more in. Like I'm trying to make this a recurring, a recurring thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel that. All right. Cool. Then we'll move on to the next one. And this one is called At the Cookout. So we're going to play it from Spotify. We're not going to actually play it through on the podcast, but you can check it out on Akin's page. It's Akin Toye. And let's go. Hey, hey, that was
Ooh.
dope, man.
It's one of my favorite songs I've ever been a
That's a
part of.
vibe right there.
Yeah.
Oh, so much fun to make.
Like, I guess the first question that came up with that, did you have like a band that played along with that, or was it like something that you found?
So the guys I work with, I mentioned before, Dan and Chateau. So both of them actually they play instruments. Like they're like musicians. So Dan plays. I've never seen him pick up an instrument he doesn't know how to play. All types of guitars and drums and keys, and he plays everything. And I remember they sent me like a slightly different version of the beat for that song, and they were like, "Yo, we just made this. We feel like you'll love it." And it was literally just the two of them. Sent it to me. I literally over the course of a couple, I was so excited to make this song. Over the course of a couple months, penned it down, kind of put it to, like pieced it together as opposed to like writing it in one sitting. Sort of pieced it together over time. We extended the song. Initially, it was like a minute and a half. We extended it to like 3 minutes almost. So it wasn't a live band playing alongside, but the goal is when we do it live to have a live band play with us. You know what I mean? Like the goal is to convey that type of energy of a live band. Like when you listen to it and you imagine a guy on the guitar ripping it, or you imagine a guy on the drums. You know what I mean? That's kind of the goal. That was the vibe we were hoping to create.
Yeah, and I feel like the energy that you have with a live band is so much more hyped, you know, than with just playing it from the speaker. Cause like, I mean, I'll be on that church life, and you know, the instruments just used to be jamming out and all the time, you know. And so like, I definitely feel where you're coming from with that. Definitely.
As the performer too, like when you have a live band behind you, you could be having the lowest energy day, blood sugars at negative whatever. And the second you hear the live band behind you, your energy skyrockets. It's impossible to lie. Like having a live band brings so much energy to the performer, and then it gives you more energy to then translate over to the audience.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah. Okay, we'll move on to some fan questions, or some questions that we got sent in. We found some. So the first one, where do you find inspiration for new songs to talk about?
So all my inspirations are sort of everyday life and interactions that I go through. So as I've started doing this music thing more often and treating it the way I treat it as a form of therapy and as a form of understanding myself and growth, I've started to be more. I've always been really analytical, but now I've allowed myself to dive into that analytical nature. So just everyday interactions, conversations with friends, watching a movie and hearing a theme that they discussed in the movie, and then doing my own Googles afterwards and seeing what that's about, or you know what I mean, just like literally regular everyday stuff. I know a lot of artists, you know, go and take trips around the world and go to Japan to get inspiration and I find a pretty solid amount of inspiration just in everyday stuff because I'm around some very interesting people every single day, just my friends, that everybody's really intelligent and has really, really bright ideas, and these are the people I get to be around. So like kind of draw from, you know, my environment. Also during quarantine, like there's something new happening every day, especially in 2020. Like there's something new going on every day, something tragic going on every day. So a lot of that too played into what I talk about on the project. The me thinking about stuff I've had to go through in my life and ideas that I wasn't able to fully put together when I was younger, and now I'm able to put together, also plays a part in the stuff I wrote on this album. Stuff that's happened since the TikTok stuff started blowing up plays a big part in what I talk about on this album, because a lot has transpired since April. A whole lot of stuff has transpired since April. Not just like in the social sphere, but also like in my personal life. A whole lot has gone on as a direct result of the eyes now coming. So that inspiration is sort of just like from whatever everyday life stuff I experience.
And I guess another question that goes into that, what's the weirdest place you've ever gotten inspiration for a song from?
Weirdest place I ever got inspiration for. I want to say the squirrels in my pants. No,
true. Okay.
No, I know an even weirder place. Hamilton the musical.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yo,
true. Okay.
I am a non-musical watching ass nigga. There's no other way to explain it. I want, if you asked me 3 months ago, I would have been like, musicals are stupid. Why do people watch them? It's dumb. What, this is boring. I hate this. I will fall asleep. And then I watch Hamilton. And just like, okay, so as a writer and as a rapper, sometimes you'll hear something and you'll be like, I need to go write right now. After Hamilton the musical, I was like, I need to remix this entire soundtrack. The movie's 3 hours almost. Like the show is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I want to remix 3 hours worth of Hamilton. Like that's where I get it. That's where I got some wild inspiration. The multi-syllable rhyme schemes and all that type of stuff made me want to go create some crazy multi-syllable rhyme schemes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel, so I will say Hamilton the musical is probably the weirdest place. Outside of like the childhood shows, Hamilton the musical is probably the weirdest place I ever got inspiration for.
Yeah. And just from that question, do you have any like kind of rivals or friendly rivalries that you have in your music career?
Friendly, I wouldn't even call them rivalries. There's a whole lot of dudes in the Hamilton music scene, and like I love all these guys. These guys are super dope. I don't even think we have rivalries. I think we just I can't speak on the Toronto music scene, but from what I know, comparing Toronto to like Hamilton is way more cohesive and everybody helps each other. So it's not even a rivalry. It's like we all want to see each other come up, you know what I mean, at the same time. And we all want to see each other do great and we all want to see each other succeed. Toronto's a little bit more competitive, whereas, you know, you will run into the guy who's like, nah, this is me versus you, whatever. But I mean, I mean, I'm a competitive person, so I welcome the competition, but I really appreciate like where I am, like in my circle, the fact that it's not so much competition as much as it is, let's elevate each other, you know?
Yeah. I feel that.
Like cool, shout out to Leo, shout out to Ganam, shout out to Gizzy, shout out to Bush, Johnson. There's a whole bunch of guys in the city that are just super dope, and we all help each other, you know what I mean? Like elevate and come up.
I feel that. For sure. All right, cool. And now we will move on to the Cypher.
Yes, sir.
We have our artists kind of showcase their talent through a Cypher over a fresh beat produced by one of our producers. And these beats are produced by Quinn, North Came Q on Instagram. And he's been with us for a minute now.
Yeah. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate him.
Yeah, man. He's been working on a bunch of different things with different artists, and if you or anyone listening to this finds a beat that they're interested, hit them up and buy some beats, you know. Yes, okay, and we'll play the first one called Chronum.
I'd like to do a song for those of you who take LSD.
Yeah. I ain't been tested outside of a lecture. The method too reckless to flow with me. Broke through the pressure, been overly checking for threats. I ain't noticed these niggas been picking at pieces. The shit I devoured already. Too brittle to cut it, but conjuring ruckus. I slice through the shit with a sharper machete. Let's spark it, I'm ready. Look, posted in the city with an hour to spend. Way too focused on the pain to give a power again. Ain't too many local niggas make it out with a pen. Hate the kid, but gave the album a 10. I ain't finna play the game to where I gotta pretend and let the labels take 1,000%. Give it a chance if you dance when they tell you to dance. Your jersey swapping in advance for advancement. Switching all your stances. Diamonds on you dancing. Album made recouping, now you trapping out the mansion. Whoa, I've been calculating my expansion. See the OGs head knocking on the stanchion. Know they want a ransom. I don't do negotiating, we don't waste time. Never had potential, so they tryna break mine. Gassing up the bubble, tryna elevate lines. Hit the gram, throw a clip on and show the fake ties. Goddamn.
Hey, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
dude. Dude, that has energy. Oh my god.
Respects. That was a late night recording session. That was a very late night.
Yo, Ollie, send me that. Like, you need to get that on, you know.
I'll definitely send it to you. Yeah, and like, okay, and then we have the next one called No More Love, and this was your favorite one, right?
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite one. This is one of those verses. Remember I was telling you like there's some stuff that I don't put out because it'll get me in trouble.
Yeah.
I halfway thought this would get me in trouble, but I also was like, might as well take the risk.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Let's give it a listen.
See the cat with the evidence, bask in the prevalence. Fast through the track, do the dash, feeling devilish. She don't pillow talk cause the past too irrelevant. I don't pillow talk cause I know better. The cold weather caught her slipping, I give her an old sweater out the back of the closet. I ain't pressure to go get it. She wanna be important, I'm slapping the go getter. She looking for a nigga to actively pro-pillar. Ain't that guy, got a lot of drive but it ain't match mine. Said she gotta go cause it's 8 past 5. Hit me when you're home cause you ain't last time. Hit another shorty on the way back down the steps. Them ones always sound the best. Everybody settle down to stress. I stretch fun to the sound reflects and brush dust when the crown collects. Trust just doesn't sound correct. Just us with a pound of chest pains. I feel on my best days. 45 with passable rest. Days in the morning used to come with a check. Now it's coming with a beautiful mess. And if it ain't no telling you from the rest, you gotta hug it. Notice what you do to impress and gotta love it. Know you wanna be in the press, out in the public. Know you wanna see him invest in our discussions. Know you ducking be in the press cause you above it. And every day you feeling neglected, out of touch. But shorty, I ain't opening scars. You got a hole in your heart. You gotta take this shit back to whoever dug it. Look, the ones that hate me the most in my eyes. Step too little for matching my size. Slip too simple to grasp when I slide. Skate too brittle and snap when I grind. Break through riddles and trapped in my mind. Wait through middles, the casket might bind. Lame dudes fiddle with cash that life fine. Blame new niggas that cast the right line, goddamn.
Ooh. That's my favorite one. Definitely my favorite.
Thank you again for that, man. That was like dope freestyle, bro.
Thank you. It was. I got some chance to say some stuff I normally wouldn't say.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. I think I got one more question before we wrap it up. Let me see. Let me see. Would you indulge yourself in the groupie life?
Oh, how do I answer this? Okay. Maybe a little bit. That's to say I have not already started doing it. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I would. No, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I would. I do it.
Yeah.
I do it. I do it for sure. I do it for sure. I got to. I feel like it's a rite of passage. I gotta do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a little, but not to the point where it could get me in trouble. Only to like the has to meet the has to be responsible groupie activity.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that about you.
Not to that Usher level, you know.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I'm so dead.
Hey, and we want to thank you again, Akin, for coming onto the podcast. It was a great time, man. We want to appreciate you for your time and your talent, and want to showcase the talent that the GTA has, you know. And
yes, sir.
I want to thank you, thank the audience. And before we break off the episode, I want you to shout out your Instagram, your TikTok, all your platforms before we head out.
So you can find me on all platforms at YAHDSAK. So at YEAHITSAK. The name Akin Toye should pop up if you just look up YAHDSAK. That'll be mine.
And you're available on Apple and Spotify?
Oh yeah, Apple Music, Spotify, everywhere you could get music. Tidal. I know niggas be using Tidal.
Ooh,
I'm on Tidal too.
I think
You know, whatever platform you listen to music. If you want to look me up on Spotify, just type in Akin Toye. If you want to find my socials, at YAHDSAK everywhere.
Cool. And then you can find us at Cypher Pod on Instagram. And then now we're officially available on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts as well, and Spotify. So, you know, we're trying to step it up, you know.
Jeez, quick level up.
You can find my Instagram at that_guy_OllyaWood. And then Paul?
I'm at paul.mostope. Yeah, that's what it is, paul.mostope.
Yeah. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Make sure you stay alive. Make sure you connect with people and your friends, you know. You never know what people are going through during this quarantine time. So make sure you check up and stay connected. Peace.